Let me put in a plug here for what I think is the greatest movie of the 1980s, Ghostbusters. Greatest movie of the 80s, right? What's the message of Ghostbusters? Entrepreneurial capitalism will overcome the apocalypse itself.
Something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! It's something weird. It don't look good. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! And a pipe, please.
And the EPA is the bad guy.
Everything was fine with our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
They caused an explosion.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Well, it's true. The EPA really is the bad guy. One of the things is, let's talk about two federal laws, the Endangered Species Act and the Clean Water Act. The Endangered Species Act requires you to get a federal permit if you're going to disturb an endangered species. One of the things I never tell you about is that species go on the list, they almost never come off. We actually, at Pacific Legal Foundation, got the bald eagle off the list these past couple months. Thank you. The species had recovered decades ago, but of course they didn't want to take it off the list. Why? Because they're concerned about the eagles? Of course not. Because the permitting scheme is a very powerful land use regulatory device, right? These laws were passed after an attempt at national land use planning was defeated in the Congress back in the 70s. And instead they enacted the Clean Water Act and the Endangered Species Act, which exist to require you to get permits, so it works just like federal zoning, see? And all they need to do is go out on your land and find an endangered species. In my neck of the woods, it was the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly. And once there is a Delhi Sands flower-loving fly population on your property, then you're required to get a permit. And of course, they don't give these permits out. I mean, you know, it's years and a lot of money to get one of these permits. So I'm from San Bernardino, California. We had a hospital called the Arrowhead Medical Center that was halfway between my town of Rialto and the nearest hospital in San Bernardino. That hospital construction was held up for years because of the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly. Now, there are some people who did die because they did not make it to the hospital on time, right? Every minute counts when you're in an ambulance. So we know that at least one person gave his life for the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly, and to me, that is not worth it. I don't see why that is legitimate. And that's the kind of situation you run in with the Endangered Species Act. Clean Water Act, I think, even gets worse. All right, the Clean Water Act prohibits the discharge of a pollutant from a point source into a water of the United States. What is a pollutant? Anything, that's right, anything. We had a case where sunlight was a pollutant. Not kidding. Some guy wants to tear down some trees. Too much sunlight will hit the stream, will disturb the fishies. Federal permit, right? What is a water of the United States? Anything, exactly. Any water that is, quote, hydrologically connected, end quote, to a water of the United States. Now you're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, does this mean when I go to the bathroom? Yes, there is no legal reason why you cannot be prosecuted for violating the Clean Water Act when you urinate in your toilet.